My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only, and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes, and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. License 8YNC992. And this is the fake sun that, as you pay attention while I'm under the structure of the entrance, the fake sun is catty corner to that entrance. It moves as I move, as I progress. And this is the fat double chin, the curse womb, the fat Caucasian female that is stalking with Starbucks.
Well, Starbucks is stalking, but I mean to say Stater Brothers. Starbucks is a relevant position as well. But this is about Stater Brothers, the venue, and this is why you're prosecuting venues that are facilitating violence. Violence that's committed in furtherance of murder. This third party right here is creating light activity. It's not the sun that they're walking under. This is the intentional maintenance of activity while this third party is targeting me inside of the store. This is how you know that these are demons. This is not just a fat, unattractive, lonely, and demonic female. This is a demon-possessed person that is targeting me with regard to the impossible light activity that's shooting inside of the store, which I've captured on video. That's exactly what happens when this third party, this serial stalker, who is very heavily documented, asking me questions about whether I'm recording. This is the mental illness. She's going to be subject to mental examinations. And so is every employee. People like Salvador Gomez gang stalking me with her while the entity is pacing in and out. Strangers walking into the grocery store, engaging in the pattern of conduct together. This is the entity that knows exactly who you, that knowledge is proven through that this would be the sun. It's currently 7:15 a.m. The fake sun is over me in the same parking lot at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is why every license plate in this parking lot was already documented. This is Engineer Light. That's on the asphalt, and she is indeed targeting, and this is a psychopath who's engaged in targeting me now. As I walk outside of the entrance to get another grocery cart, the entity is engaged in what is harassment. The broken grocery carts is a means of monitoring. So this is what's put in front of me as I switch them out, try to get a functioning grocery cart. And for example, I go to the restroom, I come out and it's another one that's broken. That's a means of activity creation as it's making noise, as it's crooked and whatnot. That's sensational activity. They're monitoring as I'm walking through the store while like license 8YNC992 are stalking inside of the store while staring at the merchandise. That's a psychopath. All right, this is P.O.C. She's going to prison, okay? But she's gang stalked with everybody else, okay? That's why you're buying groceries in the engineered environment. This is the Nephilim. Demons don't have a race. Old dirty bastards of all races are stalking. And they're engaging in vagina monitoring. This is bathroom monitoring documentation of that. This is P.O.C. Now you're going to recall what Salvador Gomez is saying on my podcast, and then you're going to juxtapose that with the environment, where he's targeting me with those that are customers. That's the federal RICO case, and that's also a criminal case against Salvador, against the third parties that are gang stalking, against the U.S. government, that are the people of the state as well. All right, that's crossing the path, light activity. This is 717, and Ontario, that is indeed stalking in the sky space. P.O.C. I just want to document that. The entity is maintaining impossible light on the inside of the store where when you're driving by, what I've already shown you, this is an outside vantage point. There's no sunlight that's shooting inside of the store. They're demons, and they know exactly who I am while the aliens in the parking lot. This is surveillance because of the fake sun engineered environment. Nobody looks normal. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's minding their business. This is the entity that's what is the pattern of conduct, and it's public corruption. And you're not free to engage in any of that without a warrant of probable cause and a legitimate interest. Okay, that's the impossible light activity of a demon. P.O.C. he's gang stalking with his partner. She's going based on the threat that she poses, monitoring me, stalking me, as though a stalker is going to get away with that and then harass you while you document them stalking. And you are indeed stalking. P.O.C. Currently 7:18 a.m. All right, remember 7:15 a.m. I'm at Cinepec on Holt Boulevard. This is not that. This is crossing path light activity. Stater Brothers employees are gang stalking and furtherance of murder. Light activity. They're stalking in the path. They get out and walk to the entrance with regard to monitoring me. And they're doing it with the customers. These are demons. Okay, that's the P.O.C. Stater Brothers is going to be prosecuted for conspiracy to murder. They're engaged in federal stalking under Title 18. And as you see, they do so with impunity. This is the entity that is indeed demon-possessed. The entity that's engaged in this pattern of conduct, which is demonic, is speaking to what necessitates martial law, because now you are witnessing what is the pattern of conduct that a government is continuously engaging in with a level of desperation that is unlawful. And it's also relevant to what is mental illness that's a threat to the national security. They're gang stalking regardless of what is the detriment to a company, to a community, to the government, the officials themselves, and they're still engaging in that pattern of conduct. That's based on and rooted in that mental illness. This is P.O.C. It is currently, by the way, 7:19 a.m. and this is not, like I stated, at 7:15 a.m. I'm at the Cinepec on Holt Boulevard, where the entity has the fake sun over me. I'm remaining at the bus stop at 537 North Euclid Avenue. I am at a plethora of places, and I'm also here at 10 o'clock, 3 hours from now, where this third party, the Caucasian female, is sitting in her vehicle. She's on surveillance camera. This is not only the means of prosecuting. The transactions that she makes with Stater Brothers is the federal RICO case, and she represents the entity. They make $1 while gang stalking me, and that is the case. Okay, and they're also not retaining profits. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:20 a.m. This is monitoring. They're all walking in. Engineer light. And on the inside of the store, I'm being touched with light. Okay, this is what he noticed, and every employee is sharing. This is surveillance. This is a Latino male engaging in surveillance, documented license plate, and they're doing so under the fake sun. And the entity is engaged in psychopathic pacing, walking, driving, while flying over. This is what they're doing at the side of the OVITT Family Community Library, while they're flying over the building and the demon-possessed are walking by at the same time, flying over the building and the demon-possessed are driving at the C Street turn circle at the same time, while I'm inside of the OVITT Family Community Library and they're walking back and forth inside of the building, while the entity is outside over the building, like I've shown you, stalking, that's Southwest Airlines, at the same time under the fake sun. This is license 8 Mary Sam Frank 492. And this is relevant to the federal RICO case. This is engineer light on the ground. This is sexual assault and battery, which businesses are going to be prosecuted for. And this is representing also the immigrant population that's being deported out of California. And this is relevant to what are federal policy regarding terrorism by the states in concert with the people. This is impossible light that's all over the top underneath here, while there are pedestrians gang stalking and drivers gang stalking on the roads and the highways, targeting, knowing exactly where I'm at. That's the P.O.C. And this is the mentally ill. 9LEA244. Their mental illness is diagnosed, it's clocked, it's identified, it's proven through the pattern of conduct. They're not coincidentally doing so while the entity is targeting with the airport. The Ontario Police Department, you'll see in the images, are stalking, engaging in the same mentally ill, psychopathic pacing. They are looking at my evidence and then deciding to be in my camera lens to do that. That's what they're doing with helicopter activity. That's what they did last night upon exit of the OVITT Family Community Library. That's what they're doing while they're looking at the evidence they're going to be prosecuted with being published on the internet. That's relevant to obstruction. It's relevant to impunity. It's relevant to malice. Well, they've been defaming my character, kidnapping me, claiming that I violated the law that they are a violation of to even be in my presence. You are stalking while you claim the municipal code, which is nothing other than a malicious guise for terrorizing and monitoring me, okay? Which again is all serving to prosecute Mike LORENZ. These businesses are being prosecuted. This is a federal RICO case. While the entity is flying over the businesses and Stater Brothers, this is exactly what they're doing in the grocery store, pacing through the aisles, stalking. Engineer light fills the grocery store. Now you're understanding the greater pattern of conduct. This is Ontario Village Shopping Center, and it is 9:02 a.m. This is P.O.C. This is surrounding. You see this car and this person walking? These are just the demons that are outside. This is pacing. License 8 UUY 895. And while they do that, engineer light flies across buildings. They're psychopaths. And this is the spirit of Satan using a population. And this population has been federally prosecuted. This is indeed state act. That's the government maintaining all manner of surveillance. All right, absolutely unlawful. They're not free to engage in that. The entities and the public officials like Paulian are being removed from office and federally prosecuted. He's not just leaving office, he's going to be prosecuted. He's funding terrorism, facilitating it, sharing in it with the people of the state. License 8 MSF 492. This is P.O.C. There's no sun at the Ontario Town Square, okay? At the same time. And the entity is doing that while you are indeed aware of the fact that that entity is monitoring. And this is a fake sun that is not at the Ontario Town Square. It's reflecting off of the windshield where I'm located, right next to my person. It's not everywhere, all over everyone in this same manner at the same time. It's not in Florida. It's not over Alvarado Gardens. Okay, it's not over the DMV in Glendale like I documented, where the Glendale police are gang stalking in the same manner. It is right over me, speaking to this entity that's targeting, and they're going to be prosecuted for it. This is P.O.C. More weirdos stalking with the Ontario Police Department. All right, this is the mentally ill that fill the city of Ontario. Their shadow is dancing around their person, and the Ontario police, who are demon-possessed just like this couple, who are stalking me just like this couple, are doing so in the specific environment, obsessing. Union Pacific is the guise of audible activity, while they're stalking in the path, walking, holding hands, and engineer light, and they're both obsessed with my vagina. The sex offenders that are gang stalking are doing the same thing in bathrooms. All right, they're doing the same thing in the private space where the government has no legitimate interest in maintaining surveillance, which is also why sex offenders that are stalking in helicopters, like Mike LORENZ of the Ontario Police Department, are being disbanded. This is P.O.C. This is what the entity's been doing. I haven't even been kept pulling out my camera because it's already old news. These demons are stalking me because until the moment that they are raided, until the moment that they're in court, until the moment that they hear handcuffs clicking on them, they're still stalking. That's because they are actually mentally ill. The demon possession that has infected an agency that is a threat to the public is engaging in criminal stalking, and they're doing it with the public, with the people of the state who are stalking me, stalking right here, walking by, repeatedly stalking with the police, who have nothing to do. That's not a police department. You want further confirmation that they're stalking? There's the fake moon right over the top of my head. Amongst the demon-possessed who are stalking, worshiping me, shown through the specific environment, they are doing so with regard to what is that specific environment that is supernatural. The sun does not rise and set but for where the demons, the Nephilim, are engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. It's currently 9:49 p.m. This is record regarding what the Ontario Police Department has been doing with the public. The entity is maintaining ongoing surveillance, stalking me by helicopter. The Ontario International Airport doing the same, concentrating their stalking conduct, which is terrorism. Ongoing psychological torture. It's demonic activity for which they will be the first prosecuted in the U.S. for engaging in mentally ill behavior that they will be criminally prosecuted for in furtherance of murder. This is wild, by the way. There is literally, at the same time, ongoing defamation on the internet regarding my ever having been kidnapped when it is reflecting that this department has committed a lawful arrest while they were stalking just like they are now by helicopter. And that's also why that demon and that agency documented stalking me in this spectacular manner is going to prison. It's part of a malicious system of targeting. It is currently 9:50 p.m. This is P.O.C. Yeah, there's no question about who is the focus regarding the use of helicopters. Mike LORENZ is going to federal prison, you can mark my words. And this is the most embarrassing, historic, and epic federal prosecution of the U.S. government. The Ontario Police Department are literally the humiliating force behind putting terrorists in the United States in federal prison. And it's all behind what is worshiping my vagina. The entity is focusing on me right here. And how do you know that? Oh, there's that fake moon. And I'm an entirely different, I moved from the Open Family Community Library over there. This is the entity that is indeed stalking, which is shown through the environment. And it's also shown because the demon-possessed gang stalkers, the chief of vagina monitors himself, Mike LORENZ, they stalk me so heavily, I document it as I go from place to place. And that's why they're flying over the top of my head, which shall be a federal offense recognized under federal law regarding what is federal group stalking, monitoring, gang stalking. The entities engaging in targeting, this is El Bacon. They're gang stalking. They're monitoring. It's activity creation. They are not focused on clubbing. This is the pathetic reality of the Nephilim. Everything that they are doing is centered around me. They're getting in their vehicle with regard to the entity that is stalking. They're monitoring on my device. These are vagina monitors that are engaging in what is clubbing on a Saturday night in the specific environment. The Ontario Police Department is no police department. Every single last one you see on video engage in criminal summoning. I document them. I ask them their badge number. I'm doing so in that specific. They're all going to federal prison. Stalking is a crime. Stalking while you're wearing a uniform is a malicious engagement in that crime designed to facilitate murder and kidnapping, and you're going to prison for it. It is currently 10:58 p.m. This is P.O.C.